Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars and welcome to another of my recommended by you reviews. Today I take a look at the 1997 martial arts action film Drive. The film is directed by Steve Wang and it stars Mark Dacascos, Kadeem Hardison and Brittany Murphy. Now this film, while it hasn't directly been recommended by Leo over at Geek Legion of Doom, he has sent me quite a large hint that he would like me to watch and review this film because he has recently sent me very kindly a package of films. One of them in the pack was the Far Cry film that I reviewed last week, the video game movie review. And he sent Drive in the package as well. Now, the rest of the films I'm going to show in a video that I filmed that's going to go up in a number of days. So, yeah, I have now watched this. And I'll give you my thoughts on it. And the film focuses on Mark Dacascos' character, Toby Wong, I believe he's called, who essentially has been implanted with something in his chest, I think it is, that basically turns him into like a super soldier, I suppose, or a super fighter. And he has to, if he can get himself to, I think it's LA, he will get like $5 million for what's in his chest sort of thing. However, there is also another interested party that wants this technology and they're chasing him constantly. Whilst on the run, he picks up Kadeem Hardison, who essentially becomes like his co-conspirator or co-pilot, whatever you want to call him, and they kind of head cross-country together, evading the bad guys in order to get to where they need to get to. Right. What are my thoughts on Drive? Well, I can absolutely see why certainly Leo likes this, and probably it's probably quite popular, certainly in regards to like 90s martial arts action films. The martial arts in this film is breathtaking. I mean, it really is spectacular stuff. And you've got to remember at the time when you watch it now, as I've just watched it for the first time, some of it does feel dated, but that's because we've been the market's been saturated for a good couple of decades, you know, where we've seen martial arts films in the West especially kind of copy this sort of choreographed fight scenes and things. But at the time, you've got to remember in 97, when this came out, it was quite rare. I think the first time the Hong Kong style of martial arts, you know, where you're using your environment and using props and everything, you know, the Jackie Chan style of martial arts and stuff. It only really started making its way over to the West big time. Certainly on the big screen was like the Rush Hour films with Jackie Chan and things. I'm sure people could give me other examples of films in the West where they experimented with it, but it was just spectacular stuff. And one of the main things I certainly took away from this film was, my God, Mark Dacascos really did deserve to be a bigger star than he actually became, because he's one of the few martial artists that A, was really skilled in martial arts, B, was obviously looked the part, and C, he could actually act, and he had some real screen charisma, and the camera liked him. So how he didn't kind of break through to the mainstream, I think is a bit of a shame. And after watching him in this film, he absolutely deserved to, because, yeah, it's special. The fight scenes in this film were special. Now, the other parts of this film are where you can probably really criticise this film. It's very much a film of the 90s, in a sense of you've got this, you know, good-looking hero, and then you've got the black comedy sidekick, which was done to death in the 90s and beyond, and the 80s and all that kind of stuff. Feels very dated when you watch it now. And then the Brittany Murphy character, I think if that character was presented in a film today, there'll probably be uproar, because she's overly sexualized and completely and utterly bonkers, and to the point where she really quite gets on your nerves a little bit. She did me. I just couldn't figure out the character and why they thought that character was needed or in any way. It was just so off kilter. I don't know whether they thought it was going to be funny. It just didn't work for me, the Brittany Murphy character. I thought it was really jarring. I mean, it didn't ruin the film or anything. I just thought it was, maybe it's because, you know, over the last couple of decades, I'm not used to seeing that type of performance in an action film. It was a really odd, strange performance and creative choice, I think. Beyond that, I can't really give this film a lot of faults. The fight scenes were spectacular. I mean, it barely gives you a chance to come up for air, which is a good thing, I suppose, because the bits in between, the dramatic bits, if you like, or the talky bits, or whatever you want to call them, are very, very weak. You know what I mean? The film's attempt at character development, you know, the fact that Kadeem Hardison is split from his wife and daughter and all that kind of stuff, and excuse me, you're not really that fussed. And other attempts, you know, the discussions they have in the car when they're driving to A to B sort of thing about this, that, and the other. It's just not that interesting. You're kind of willing the bad guys to turn up so we can have another battle on the fight scene. And when they do, you're just completely rubbing your hands again because it is just so well done. So for me, one of the more spectacular choreographed films I've seen in regards to martial arts. There are other aspects of the film that I think have dated quite badly. But yeah, if you've never seen Drive, definitely check it out. You'll definitely, I think, agree with me that Mark Dacascos deserved to break through into the mainstream as a result of this. I mean, he did do a lot of other stuff in the 90s. He was one of the most prominent martial arts actors in the 90s, but most of them were, you know, B-movie type stuff that never broke through to the mainstream. I think probably most people know Mark Dacascos from John Wick 3. Certainly audiences these days, but like I say, if you do your research, he was a really popular martial arts film actor in the 90s. It's just a shame that he never really got that chance. But yeah, very, very good. Definitely worth checking out if you haven't seen Drive. I really, really enjoyed huge aspects of the film, and like I say, other aspects I thought were quite dated. But yeah, definitely worth checking out. So don't forget, guys, if you're wanting me to do a recommended by you review, fire some suggestions in the comments. I will add them to the list. And then I will obviously try and get around to watching them and reviewing them. And you will obviously get a shout out in the videos as well. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this review. I'll be back with more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.